Hi friends, today I want to read you the new Froggy book called Froggy Eats Out. And in this story, the main characters are Froggy and his mom and his dad, and they're going out to a fancy restaurant. So here's your title page, Froggy Eats Out by Jonathan London and illustrated by Frank Remquicks. It was almost dinner time, and Froggy was hungry. He sat in the kitchen and dreamed about burgers and flies. Not fries, but flies, because he is a frog. Then he hopped up and looked for something to eat. He looked in the cabinet, slam. He looked in the fridge, slam. He looked in the oven, bang. "Mom," yelled Froggy, "there's nothing good to eat." Do you ever feel that way sometimes at your house? Even though there's food there, there's just not what you want to eat, right? "Froggy," called his mother. "What? Did you forget? It is our anniversary, and we are going out to eat." "Hooray," said Froggy. "Let's go. First you have to get dressed up, dear. We are going to a fancy restaurant." So Froggy flopped back to his bedroom. Flop, flop, flop. He's going to go get dressed. So here's something that Frank Remquicks and Jonathan London do in every book. They always have him changing into his clothes. So he slipped off his shirt, unzipped his pants, took off his shoes, pulled off his socks, and even changed his underwear with a zap of elastic. And then, now he's getting on his fancy clothes, he tugged on his best pants, zip, buttoned up his best shirt, zut, 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 put on his best socks, zoop, pulled on his best shoes, zup, and tied them up, zwit, zwit. And then he put on his best bow tie, snap, and flopped out to show his mom and dad. Flop, flop, flop. Wow, he is getting very dressed up, even has a bow tie on. "You look very handsome, dear," said his mother, "but you forgot to wash." "Oops," cried Froggy. So he went back to the bathroom and washed his hands and face, splash, 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 and he used lots and lots of water, but only just a little bit of soap. Look at the mess he's making. Oh my goodness. Then he dried off with a towel, whoop, and looked at himself in the mirror, and he thought he was kind of cute, he thought to himself. "Froggy," called his father. "What?" "It's time to go," said his dad, "or we'll be late." And off they flopped to the restaurant. Flop, flop, flop. There is that long A word, late. And it follows the silent E at the end, making A say A. All right, so here they are at the very fancy restaurant. Okay. At the restaurant, Froggy's eyes grew big and round. There were glowing candles and flowers in vases and tablecloths as white as snow. So this is the kind of place that takes a little bit longer because you have to order off a menu and wait for someone to bring you the food and drinks, and it takes longer, so that makes it harder for Froggy. "This is a fancy restaurant," said Froggy. "Yes," said his mother. "So remember, be neat, be quiet, and don't put your feet on the table." When they were seated, Froggy said, "I'm hungry. Let's eat right now." "First we have to order, dear," said his mother. "I want a hamburger," said Froggy. "Sorry, Froggy, no hamburgers here," said his father. Fancy restaurants sometimes don't have all the things maybe that kids like to eat. When the waiter handed him a menu, Froggy opened it and knocked over a glass of water. Crash! "Oops," cried Froggy. "Oh, Froggy," said his mother, "remember what I told you." So here's Froggy. When the waiter hands him the menu here, he spills his glass of water. I know, said Froggy. Be neat, be quiet, and don't put your feet on the table. He's trying his best, but it's very hard for him. When it was hard to be neat and quiet, he fidgeted. He shook salt on his hand and licked it. He banged a spoon on the table. Bang, bang, bang. And then he hit it hard on the tip of the spoon, and it flipped right into the waiter's head. Bonk. Here he is hitting the spoon, and it's flying through the air and hitting the waiter right there on the head. Oh my goodness. After the waiter finally came and took their orders, they waited and waited and waited and waited some more. Froggy pulled petals off of the flowers, he blew out the candle, and he sucked the sugar cubes and the ice cubes. He was trying to pass the time, but it was so hard to wait. Then he hopped up and flopped around the restaurant, flop, 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 singing, "Be neat, be quiet, and don't put your feet on the table." "Froggy," called his father. "What?" "Please come here and sit down now," says his father. They're getting a little embarrassed because Froggy is running around the restaurant. So can you see what Froggy got off the menu? Let's see. Froggy sat down. Finally, dinner was served. Froggy stuck his fork into a huge plate of spaghetti and sucked some up. Slurp. It was fun. So he slurped up some more. Slurp, slurp, slurp. And that's when he saw Frogalina. Frogalina's at the restaurant with her family, too, and Froggy didn't even know it. She was sitting with her parents. "Hi, Froggy," called Frogalina. "Oh, who's that pretty little girl, Frog?" asked his mother. Oh, no, there's Frogalina. Oh, no. Look what happened. Oh, my goodness. Froggy was so embarrassed he ducked beneath the tablecloth and pulled and pulled and pulled, trying to cover himself to hide from Frogalina, until the spaghetti and fly sauce landed smack on his head. Splat. So here comes the spaghetti falling off the table and gonna land right on its head. Oh, there it is. Poor Froggy. "Oops," cried Froggy, looking a little more red in the face than green. "Happy anniversary," he croaked. "Oh, what a mess," said his father. "Oh, Froggy," said his mother. Froggy scooped spaghetti off of his face and said, "I know. Let's eat out at a Fast Fly's place." "Good idea," said his mother. So they made a decision to leave the fancy restaurant and go to a Fast Fly's restaurant. "Let's go," said his father, and together they leapfrogged all the way there. Flop, flop, flop. So there they are at Speedy's Diner. So Speedy's must be serving food faster. Where they all ate burgers and flies. Munch, crunch, munch. And there they are at the restaurant having their burgers and flies. Now this story must take place before they have the baby sister Pollywogalina, because she is not a character in this story. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I have one more Froggy story to read you this week.